Hi, it's Paul here from Shinewater Glass and Shinewater Crafts, and today we're going to look at microwave kiln glass fusing. So let's get into the studio and have a look what we're going to do. So as you can see, that little yellow dot there is lined up on the 0, and the end of the glass there is lined up on the 1. So hopefully I'll be able to show you. Okay, so now that's scored a line on it there. I can't break it by hand. I'll get my breakers in a second and break it. Okay, so let me reach around here. You can see the little line. I hope you can. It's like a little very, very tiny score line there. And we just go like that. And now we've got a nice piece of glass. It's that shape, and we're going to do the same again down there and break it again. So, done a little score line again. And now we've got two pieces, one slightly bigger than the other. So I'm probably going to go with that one. And we're going to try and turn that into a butterfly garden. Okay, so the first thing I've done is I've got a little chopping board that I bought in Home Bargains a while ago, and I've marked it out that it's for glass only, so that no one else will use it or pick it up and use it for anything else other than glass. Obviously you don't want glass particles in food or anything like that. On top of that, I've now placed a sheet of A4 paper, and there's the piece of glass we cut a little while ago. So this is just ordinary white PVA, also known as school glue. I think in the States it's known as Elmer's. We can get Elmer's over here. And this burns off in the kiln and disappears. So it's quite useful for putting your decorative bits on. And that's what we're going to do now. Now I've got a tiny little bit of glue on my finger, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it across the bottom portion of the glass. And now we put the glue on. I've got some nice green frit, and I'm just going to put that on there like that. And you can see why we've put the paper down now, because it's a bit messy. Right, you can see there we've created a nice little green grass effect. I'm just going to go and pick up some more of the darker green. Okay, so that's there like that. So now I can pop that there a second. And pop all that in there. When we work with some of the finer glass powders, it's sensible to wear a respirator, stop you inhaling the glass powder. Okay, so now we're back and we've got some confetti glass here, and I'm going to try and put some of that on. I've got a little bot of glue down here, and we put that across the top there like that. And try and make a nice blue sky as best we can. Could have used blue frit across the top there if I'd have wanted, but doesn't have to be perfect. Pop that on the end now like that. No, that didn't work. I've got glue on my fingers, so it's sticking everywhere. I think that'll do, to be honest. Right, so now we want to put our butterfly and our flowers on. Okay, so here's my butterfly, and this is thin gauge copper foil, and I've used a craft punch shaped like a butterfly to punch a butterfly out of the copper. And I'm just going to dip that in a bit of the glue. Actually, I'm going to put a bit of the glue on my finger again, wipe it on the back end of that, and then we drop that in there and move it across like that. Okay, so now we need to add the flowers in. Okay, so before I do that, I'm just going to make it so it's easier to transfer to the kiln. So that's a piece of thin fire on top of a piece of a disc of fibre paper. I'm just going to pop that on there. So the thin fire makes the back nice and smooth. It's quite expensive, that. And the fibre paper protects the base of the kiln. You don't need both if you've got thin fire, but I prefer to use both because that's just me for you. Right, that will look better. No, probably not. Right, so now it's time to get my pink. Probably can't really see how coloured pink that is, but there's some bigger bits in there, and I'm going to drop those into various strategic places on there to make the flowers, and I might pop a few darker green bits in as well, just for foliage. I've got my first. Oh, quite tricky, this bit. Problem is I'm running out of this particular frit, but you get the general idea. So I think that's about as done as we're going to get with that. So I think what I need to do now is put a clear cap on top and get us into the microwave. So this is the lid of the microwave kiln, and you see this black material here. That absorbs the microwaves and becomes fiercely hot. And then this sits underneath and insulates. So what we need to do now is lift that up onto the table of that, and we pop that on top, and it will go in the microwave. But we need to put the clear capping on first before we microwave it. But I'm going to lift it onto the base now. Okay, so we're on. I'll go and get the clear capping. Okay, so I've cut my piece of clear, which will go on top like that. But what I tend to do is I lift the platform into the microwave first, because things can move about, and this especially will slip off because there's nothing to balance it other than a few bits of frit at one end. So this is a standard microwave that I bought from Asda for about £35. It's a 700 watt microwave. Lots of people have industrial microwaves that do this, but I don't. Right, there we go. You can see it's safely in there now. I'm going to put the glass cap on. And now I'm going to put the kiln lid on. Okay. Now we pop that in there like that. And we're on medium low. I'm gonna knock it down to low because I need to get the glass warmed up, and because it's a slightly whitish glass, it takes a little longer. I'll put it on low at 5 minutes to start with, and we'll come back in 5 minutes and put it up to medium low for 5 minutes, and we'll do 2 cycles of that and see where we are, whether the glass is beginning to glow. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. Another turn. You see that flash there? That's kind of copper butterfly arcing inside. I just hope it didn't happen what happened last time, where the piece split in half because of the arcing, but we'll see. Okay, so that's the last of the 3 turns of 5 minutes completed. I've got my heat-proof gloves on, and by the looks of it we're glowing. Well, that isn't glowing, but the actual thing is glowing. So that isn't even slightly red yet, so I need to put that on for another 6 minutes, I think. See where we go from there. That should be glowing by then. Okay, so hopefully this time we should see the glass glowing. Yep, so it's starting to get there, so now we need to do slow turns. So I'm going to put it in for probably about another 2 for now. Come back in 2 minutes, see where we're at. Okay, so we're back again, 2 minutes complete. So that glow is fierce there. I think we can probably go for another 2 on that. And we're just trying to get it so that it's got nice rounded corners. At the moment the corners look a bit square. Okay, so another 2 minutes has passed. is hot even with the gloves on. Yeah, there we go, the corners have started to be rounded enough for me now. I'm happy with that. Okay, we'll come back in about an hour after it's cooled down. And here's our final product, a Butterfly Garden Cabochon, which will make a lovely gift for someone as a necklace. All we need to do is add a finding and a chain. So, thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed our content, please like and subscribe. Goodbye for now, and hope to see you next time.